Hi, welcome to It's Show Business. This week we have comedian Noe Towers on the podcast. He's a super funny comedian, was a JFL New Face 2019, great TikToker. You're going to love him. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on whatever medium you're watching, YouTube, and we really appreciate your support. So thank you and enjoy the episode. Perfect, yeah. It looks great. It's nice and crisp. You must have good internet and wherever you are.
Yeah. I don't have a huge apartment, so I guess it's like the Wi-Fi is strong.
Yeah. Well, Noe Towers, thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've been binging you on Fortune Feimster and Tom Papa's podcast. What is
so
a Joke
funny,
Radio?
Yeah, I get to be their intern, their unpaid intern on their radio show. It's fun.
Oh, it's so fun. I couldn't stop listening to him. You're teaching him about TikTok, which was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Did they do it?
What?
Did they do it?
They both are on TikTok, I think. I don't think Tom has like continued on, but Fortune is like going hard.
Yeah.
She's on TikTok.
Do you still feel that it's like the platform of choice for you?
I'm obsessed with TikTok. Like, I'm obsessed with TikTok. Like, I don't post a ton, but like it's apparently the largest app. I mean, the most downloaded app ever.
Really?
It has apparently more users than Instagram and Twitter combined. And I think it's where it's at. I really do think I don't think it's going anywhere. And I think we should all invest some time into TikTok.
You've convinced me because I'm on there with my 9 followers, and it is like I just never put any time to it, but I'm gonna do it.
You should. And like, so I post like maybe once a week or something, but I've been on since May, and I think I broke 40,000 followers, but I don't really think about it. I just like post a fun, like, okay, I would say do your jokes into your camera like you're just like a one-liner, and I swear to God, some of them get 1 million views. It's wild.
Wow, I'm definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, good.
And then I usually Google the guest, and I was thinking about your name, like adding. I don't know if you made a conscious choice to keep the Noe, but the Noe makes it because like there's no other Noe Towers.
Yeah, my middle name is my mom's maiden name. It is my middle name.
Yeah.
But like my parents have been divorced, so I just like I like Noe. Like I think it's like a really like cute, fun middle name. So yeah, I like made that decision a long time ago.
No,
and it's Noe Towers.
Yeah, super smart to. I mean, there's no other Latif Tayors on the internet, so I kind of lucked out.
You cornered the market. It was weird. Like it used to be like I could tell like in job interviews, they're like, "We'll give this guy a chance," and they'd had no idea like what race I would be coming into it. Yeah.
And now with the new environment, they're like, "Yeah, we want one of those guys. Like, come on in." Yeah.
You got tossed to the top of the heap.
Yeah. Like this looks like it ticks a box now.
I will say with my name, recently, Bristol Palin started dating someone named Zach Towers.
Yeah.
So like now Google search results, like if you do Zach Towers, it's like, is this a gay guy or is this Bristol Palin's new boyfriend?
Right. Yeah, I noticed that. So the Noe is like, it's clutch. Yeah. And it'll look great on the Comedy Store wall, the Noe.
Yeah, I want to take up as much space as possible.
Yeah. There's a guy that like, I think his name is Kane West. I'm sorry that I don't know.
That sounds familiar, actually.
I don't know who he is, but every time I'm like in the Comedy Store parking lot, out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, Kanye West is. Oh no, it's not. I always think I'm like, he put his name. Oh no, he's not.
He could. I assume he could. I bet he could do a tight 5 or a loose, hour and just be up on the wall in a second.
It would be entertaining if Kanye's like, "Can I go up?" Like, would you just say no? Would you just?
Oh, I would let him ramble until the fucking cows came home.
Yeah, that'd be a real test of like how if a club's gonna stick to comedians only. If like Kanye goes, "Can I go up?" and they're like,
he just starts singing. We're like, okay, this is not it, but
yeah,
you do you.
Totally. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do more TikTok. I've just been lazy about clipping my stuff and putting the captions. I captioned a couple, and then I'm like, it's so slow to do it, and but it's worth
tedious.
it. You got
It's so tedious.
Yeah. Do you use Premiere, or do you do it yourself, or do you have someone do it?
The best stand-up clip I have up was done entirely by the Don't Tell comedy crew.
Oh, those guys are great. Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
They set up 2 camera angles, they recorded audio, and they sent me this like beautiful clip, like going back. It looks like again like a clip from like an MTV comedy show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw them do that at Paul Elia. He has that show that's like kind of outdoors in a truck.
Yep, with Matt Rife.
With Matt Rife, yeah, and the Don't Tell guys came and recorded Jesus Trejo's set, and they did the 2 cam and like set it all. It looks so pro. I'm like, I haven't seen the clip, but just their setup looked like they really know what they're doing.
It looks great. I swear to God, like, especially because us comics in LA perform for free so often.
Yeah.
If they were like, if shows were offering like, hey, we'll get you a hot tape of your set.
Yeah.
I perform in a heartbeat, you know?
Yeah. We actually do that at Comedy Bunker. We give you like a 3 camera angle set, and I'll look and see when you did it, if we were doing it then. And if so, I'll send it to you. But we don't edit it because that's a little bit beyond our capabilities.
Yeah.
But we'll give you like, here, there's a wide, there's a tight, and there's a crowd. So if you want to chop it up, and
that's amazing. Wait, what are you guys doing with that? You're just like stockpiling footage?
No, we just do it like you said. So if a comedian's gonna come and do the show, like you can walk away with a good set. And the show started being like, people were leaving there and being like, oh, I wish I had that on tape. And so if you can walk away with it, it's good for the show. Like Adam Ray clipped one up and captioned it, and it's got the show logo in the background. And
amazing.
So I think it's like a win-win
show.
Oh, thanks.
It was. I mean, it is. You're doing it, or you've been doing it outside?
We did 3 outside, and now we're just on hiatus until,
America gets its shit together.
Until something, like it just started feeling a little weird and too risky, and that's also a lockdown now, so you don't want to be doing shows in the lockdown.
I think, shows happening now are like truly, they kind of make my skin crawl a little bit,
Yeah.
It's like, we got an alert, people, like it said 3 weeks, like back in your homes, and it's like, no, come out to this field and watch a comedy show.
Yeah, that actually happened to me this week. I was like texting this one field, and I'm like, is this still on? They're like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure? They're like, yeah. And so I go down I'm like, all right, I just want to go see what's here. So I go down to like a dark field. There's no one there except for a couple comics, and but that was fun. I got to talk to some friends, and then I'm like, all right, well, this obviously isn't happening, and we'll see you in January.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I'm so resentful because our careers are they feel so on hold, and it's just like,
But I see the light. Like, doesn't it feel like we're like the last couple months? Like there's some sort of vaccine. There's normalcy coming. Like, it's nice. That's a nice feeling.
Honestly, that Saturday, I think it was November 7th, that they called it in favor of Joe Biden, I was skipping and screaming down the streets of West Hollywood, California. Like, I've been drawing so much pleasure from that, because I agree. We're headed towards the light.
They must have like these all hands on deck meetings at CNN. Like, okay, ratings are down. Like, what do we do now? Like, they must just be panicking.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, and even when Joe Biden did his like acceptance speech or whatever, I was so bored. I was like, great, this is great. Like, I don't remember a word of this speech. That's how I like my politics.
Yeah, it's so crazy, but it does feel like with the virus and the vaccine, it's kind of like senior year of like college or high school. It's like, this is coming to an end. It's like, it's almost, we're almost there.
We're almost there.
Whatever you hate about this, we're almost done.
We're almost done.
You can leave your small town and go wherever you want to go.
Exactly. You're free.
Yeah. Are you a California native?
No, I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, nice.
And then I went to college at Indiana University, but I've been in LA for 12 years now. So I feel kind of like an Angelino at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're a veteran. You're on the Sirius. You did the JFL. You've got a lot of things going on. You got the podcast going with Deborah Giovanni. Your podcast as well.
Oh, you did Google me.
I gotta figure out who's. I mean, we've hung out a few times. We've been on a lot of shows together, but I don't think we've really, we haven't talked about career stuff, and that's a lot about what this podcast is about. Just talking about like things you've accomplished, things you want to achieve, and how your career is progressing in this crazy showbiz.
Yeah, I love that. I could talk industry forever.
Perfect.
I love it. I'm kind of obsessed because like this too. It's like I'm still so addicted to like the fact that like a phone call or an email on Tuesday could change everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just like so intoxicating. Like I couldn't ever not do this because it's like it just feels like you're in this lottery the whole time, and you just like every like credit and every like thing you do is like another ticket in the lottery.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
It's also how they keep you in it because they're like, don't quit tomorrow. That could be the one,
Totally. Someone told me recently that Hollywood kills you with encouragement, and I do feel that. Like, because at this point now I have agents and stuff who are like, "This is great. You're great. Do this. Write the thing. And then I give it to them, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually not it." And I'm like, okay. And like, but this thing is it. Now do this. And I'm like, okay, enter TikTok. And they're like, TikTok. That's where it's at. And I'm like, okay. And then you do TikTok, and they're like, no, it's Marbly Moop,
it's Reels now. It's Reels.
I refuse. I don't even watch them. I'm skipping Reels.
Skipping Reels.
Yep. Mark my words.
It'll
be the flaw in my career you watch. It'll be my downfall.
Right. Just like they're charting it out. Your agent and your manager is like, something's not.
Yeah. This is where it all went wrong. He didn't post a reel.
Yeah. I had some friends who really got on board early. A lot of these things, like if you're early adopting the platform, it really helps. Like they're really pushing it and just saying they'll push like anything almost.
1,000. I think of that now too, where it's like, oh, like TikTok's been around now for a few years, I think, but I just got on in May. Like I hope that I won't be like a dinosaur at the point the next thing comes out, so I can just like go at it.
Yeah, and it's also now that if you've been on the other platforms, you kind of already have your content ready to go, and so you can kind of just like repurpose it for the new platform. Just like, and they always screw us with like the aspect ratio. They're like, this one's 9:8. This one's 11.5:4. Like they can't just keep the same.
Of course, it's like Apple. They're like, now you don't get a charging cord. Now you get a new USB end. Now you get, a tiny phone.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you've done a couple things on JFL. I was watching your clip on there.
Yeah, JFL. I did New Faces in 2018.
Nice.
And then I think as just an extension of that, they had a digital series like JFL Digital, and they recorded a set. I think maybe like shortly after that. That's the one that's like on YouTube. Aside from that, I've like opened for Deborah DiGiovanni. She's like queen of JFL, and she's a queen of Canada in many ways.
Oh yeah, she's the best.
She's amazing. She took me to. She usually always takes me to open for her in Canada. So I got to do like JFL Northwest.
Yeah, I did that
JFL
one time.
42, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my hometown, Vancouver.
Great. That's where you're from?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I don't think I knew you were Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian. I started in America though.
Okay. That makes sense, because you actually strike me as like a local LA, like a born and raised LA.
Vancouver is very West Coast too, so it's like we don't have a lot of the Canadian accent as much, and it's and I've been here 15 years, so
Vancouver is sexy as hell.
So beautiful, yeah.
I still have like it's so funny too, because growing up in the States, like we made fun of Canada when I was a kid. Like Canada was like a joke, or like the butt of a joke. Like even South Park and stuff got in on it, and now it's like I'm so physically jealous like of Canadians.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of advantages. As a Canadian, we don't understand why we're the butt of the joke. Like,
you shouldn't. It's just another thing where America is like, we are better. Like no no facts to support that we're better. None. But we just like say it so we think it's true, you know?
I remember the Simpsons one where they go to Toronto and Bart like gives someone $1. He's like, and they're like, "How would you like your breakfast, sir?" Because like the money's so much more, I guess at the time. And it was like, I remember like it was like $1 to like $1.60 or 70. Like it was, it really hurt when you went across the border.
Wow. But now it's like leveled out. But now everything like something that in the States that's like $15 would be $20 Canadian, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But now going back the other way, it's like, oh yeah, this feels great.
I got American money. Yo.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, everything is, whatever it looks on the price tag is like a third cheaper. So,
Amazing.
But it is a great comedy country. Like if you probably did Comedy Bar in Toronto, right?
I think so.
And like the Yuck Yucks clubs are really good there too.
When Deborah does a tour, she primarily does like small, like theaters. So we do like a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Comedy Bar is like it's like the cool venue in Toronto that has like two rooms like side by side. You kind of like bounce between both. Like if you
like
go back,
improv style.
Yeah, it's a bit more like kind of like if you took the Virgil and added another room.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the Virgil. I hope it comes back. I hope the Virgil isn't like dead.
Yeah, I've been hearing weird rumors about different places going out of business, but I don't know who to trust or what to believe. And like Swingers was gone, and then it's back, and then yeah.
Wait, Swingers is back?
Yeah, it's back. Someone bought it or something.
Of course, you see, of course, and this is why I do like release a lot of like threatening news articles and stuff. Like this is gonna be this way till 2023. I'm like, no, you are being crazy right now. Ariana Grande is gonna step in and like buy Swingers any second.
Yeah, Ariana Grande is like, it's amazing that her career, like, because she was like the one it felt like on that show that like they weren't betting on. They put all their chips on Vanessa something Hudgens. Is that right?
Hudgens, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, she's the one, and then
that's
like,
it.
And then everyone in the public's like, nope, we like this
Ariana.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, go Ariana.
Yeah, the music industry is like pretty unforgiving. I guess comedy is in a way. It's like eventually it rises to the top. Like you can only cram music down people's throats so much before they're like, we don't like this. Stop.
Right. I've been maybe it's the pandemic. It's like I've really, really come to acknowledge that like every field is difficult to climb to the top of. Like everything. Like people are like, oh, like OnlyFans is like the butt of people's joke. Like, oh yeah, I could jerk off on camera, make 20 grand a month. It's like, no, like these people are working so hard to make the money they do. Like it's not that, and nothing worth like being the best at is easy. It's just not.
No, it's like same thing happened. Like I have a bunch of friends playing video games on Twitch. They're like, just do it. I already have 4,000 followers. I did it once. I'm like, okay. So I have like 13, and I'm like, this is not like this is not easy. Like they're like making GIFs and motion graphics and things are and like they're talking chatting and sound effects. I'm like, okay, you're invested here. This is a big deal.
This isn't just like sign up for Twitch and they hand you 10,000 followers.
Yeah. Like a podcast too. It's like you got to keep improving, making it better, growing your audience, clipping the clips, getting guests. Like,
what's been your experience with your podcast? Can you tell, like, how long have you been doing it?
This will be episode 63 or 4. So a little over a year. Yeah. Every week. I haven't missed a week. So.
Wow.
It's been doing
my
good.
hats off to you. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been staying on the charts. And then some weird days, I don't know if you have this experience, like last week, we had the biggest day of the podcast ever. And I don't know why. Like nothing happened, like nothing came out that day. It just like spiked up. So I don't know if it's like a crawler or like we got added to something or...
Weird.
It's weird.
And what, you can't track it? Wasn't like one specific episode with a guest that like...
No, it was like all episodes. Like every episode got a listen, like multiple listens, and it all just like went up. It was weird.
Huh, that's crazy. But that's exciting. I will say it's exciting with like my podcast that I just started. And oh my God, like I'm only on episode 11 and it's like, oh wow, every week it sneaks up on you.
Oh yeah.
So fast.
And do you edit it yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
a one-man band over here.
Yeah, same here. So it's like that pressure to edit. We come out every Monday, and then some days I'm like, this is a Tuesday. I'm like, I am not getting to it.
It's not going to happen. I will say the longest part of it for me has been re-listening to the interview. I mean, like, can this go? Can that go? Should I take this out? But I've actually been a little bit kinder to myself, or I've gotten more succinct with interviewing people where I'm like, I keep us on topic and I like, you know what I mean? Like, and then if it's in the hour range, I'm like, good, great, let it fly.
Yeah, exactly. You start getting better at it, and then I listen in double speed. Do you do that?
No.
So do you use Premiere, or what do you use to edit it?
Fucking GarageBand.
Okay, I'll look into it for you to see if you can do double speed. But double speed changed my life. Like, so I play back in double speed, and I'm editing the audio and video in Premiere, and so it's like if it's an hour, it takes half an hour.
Damn. Okay. I also don't have a visual component to mine. Do you put this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a visual component, but I'm sure I should.
Yeah, YouTube is becoming like one of the biggest. It's like Apple and YouTube are the two for me. That's like the biggest audience.
Damn.
I wish
Yeah,
Spotify
Apple's
was bigger,
mine.
but it's just not catching on yet. Maybe with Rogan and everything, it will now.
Yeah, I use Anchor, which is Spotify, to do my podcast, and yeah, it's still like a much smaller percentage than Apple.
Yeah, and the Google and all that stuff. And I do really enjoy it. Like there's a little bit of a dread before you record and like do it. And you're like, and then when you start doing it, you're like, oh, this is why I do this. It's super fun. It's nice to connect with people, especially in quarantine. It's the only socializing I do. And
Absolutely the same. And like now mine comes out Friday mornings at like 1 a.m. on Friday. But Thursday night very much feels kind of like Christmas Eve, because I'm like, ooh, like my episode drops tomorrow. And then like you said, like people message like, oh my God, I love this part, or like this me too, you know? And I'm like, it's like a nice little, it reminds me of like why we probably got into entertainment, to like connect and entertain people,
yeah.
you know?
And that is one good thing about YouTube, is that the interaction of it, because it allows people to comment. So like that. And I noticed that I heard something like Spotify is adding a commenting element basically because of, or through Rogan's podcast, because he used to have it on YouTube and people would comment, and now they're going to allow comments on it because it adds like an element. And I noticed that like I have a couple fans who like listen to every episode and like comment. And then when you engage with them, they kind of like it. You know, you like respond to their questions, or like they say, "Oh, what about this guest?" Or "I really like that," and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is it."
Cool, we're doing it together.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've kind of reached that tier where you have like a good manager and a good agent. How do you feel that that's been helpful to your career?
My manager changed my life. I'm with Levity. They're amazing. It's interesting. So what happened for me was I did a backyard show and a short film around the same time. And Time Out magazine wrote about both of those separately. And I think that's what led to me getting comics to watch from Time Out. That being on that list got me my manager. My manager submitted me to JFL, and I got JFL that same year. And then JFL, I think, got me I'm on a show on E. I think someone at JFL saw me on the showcase, and I got an E pilot, and that show's in second season now. And it kind of, actually, and you know what's crazy? I got my agents from writing a feature film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I wrote a comedy horror, and it was optioned by A24.
Nice.
And
great place. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also like, this is why it's like, I'm not depressed these days, but I am seeing that our careers are very like up, down, because like all of this happened in 2018. I got my manager, I got JFL, I got the E show, I optioned a feature film, and I got my agents. So like I was like, I'm setting sail. Like, this is it, people. And then, you know, like lo and behold, like the option at A24 was a year. It ended in this past March, and they did not re-option it. it is now with a different production company, which I'm jazzed about. But like, you know, the pandemic happened. It left A24. You know, my agents really, in my experience, they absolutely have gotten me auditions and stuff. But like, a manager is what did so much for me. The agents kind of, in my experience, are the last people to look your direction, and kind of like they've gotten me into bigger doors, but I'm such a small fish still that I'm not like booking the things really that they're putting me up for. You know, like I'm going out for Netflix animated shows that like Hilary Swank's also randomly submitting for, and I'm like, this is like, what? Like, okay, like, thank you. I'm so appreciative. But like, also like my manager's the one like scouring for under 5, you know, line parts, and like still like calling me every day and like helping me like decide the next move, you know?
Yeah. I think there's a line in, I think it's BoJack Horseman, when they're like, what's the difference between agent and the manager? They're like, oh,
manager produces.
Yeah. Our managers care.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they say that in a few different ways, because I swear to God, one of them times, oh, no, I'm thinking of a different thing. But managers, yeah, produce too.
Yeah.
Managers, or they're allowed to.
Yeah, they're allowed to produce, exactly. And they're kind of a bit more, in theory, they're the ones that are kind of like more invested in your career and like talk to you more, and they're like more like strategic.
My manager, when I signed with him, he was like, I may not be your first manager, but I hope I'm your last.
That's a good line.
Yeah, it made me feel very comfy, cozy, because I'm also like a sensitive artist type who like needs like to be like coddled often.
It's got to be a tough gig as a manager, because like there's this anxiety. It's like they could leave you when they make it big.
I mean, on the flip side, the manager could leave you when you're small, you know, small.
Yeah, when you're down and out. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that, because like, God bless Alex, my manager. He has made pennies respectively in the 3 years that we've been working together. He's made pennies on me, and like he like still like take me out to like dinner sometimes, and like he's like so loving, and like he is so in it for the long haul that like, unless he gets a crazy offer, I'm sure, from another field of the entertainment industry, which I don't foresee happening, you know, I trust him. And it is this like beautiful relationship. We like talk about, like, I talk about boys, he talks about girls, you know, like we are invested in each other's. I babysat his cat for a month, and it's just like, you know, like I love him. Like, yeah.
It's a good relationship. Is it Alex Goodman?
Yeah.
Okay, I just had Steve Fury on the last episode, and he's his manager as well.
Did he speak highly of him?
Oh yeah, same thing. He's like, I love going out for beers with the guy. He's great. Like, yeah.
Yeah, Alex and I are actually also both from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh,
so,
nice.
We had that to share on, and it is interesting looking back too, because when we were in talks of working together, he was like, he's like, yeah, I signed you because you had a feature film written. Because I did. I had the feature that I wound up selling done when I met him, and he was like, that really put me over the edge. And I was like, okay. So it's, I guess I found that, like, and I'm getting back here now, because I feel like when you do start to get opportunities, you have this choice to kind of jam yourself into the opportunity. Like, we're looking for this type of a writer for this type of a project, and I try to fit that mold and often fall short. So now I'm getting back to writing for myself and doing things that I want to do, because that is in fact what got me to this point, you know, and I really lost sight of that for a while.
Yeah, and it's like two different career paths in a way. One's like you're writing for other people to be more of a staff writer, and the other one's like I'm writing for me to kind of develop things I want to develop. And you can do both, but it's hard to really do both at the same time.
I honestly couldn't imagine like being a staff writer, not that I have been one, but being a staff writer during the day and then like writing for yourself at night. Like I have like limited energy, and especially the older I get, and like the concept of like quote unquote working two jobs, like I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Yeah. And writing is hard. Like after an hour of actually writing, you're like, this is a lot. Like,
I completely agree. There's a thing called decision fatigue.
Yeah.
And it's like, and yeah, so like I truly think when you are trying to just make decisions for characters and for plot and for story, I use up my decision energy, and I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I've lived 1,000 different lives today, you know?
I wrote a spec script for that show, Dave, And I would do it in the morning. Like I would get like an hour and a half in, and I'm like, okay, that's about what I'm going to do today. And then, but if you of like actually working, writing, revising, rewriting.
Here's the crazy thing is like, and it's all about what you just said, like doing an hour, you know, like so many people I think are like, oh, I'll write all day Sunday. And it's like, you won't though, first of all. And like, if you can even write for 30 minutes a day, you'll eventually get the spec script done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm in a place where I don't even know what to do with it. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did it. Actually, I got it to a friend of mine read it, and they used to work for someone at FX, and they took it and sent it to like one of the development VPs or something there. But I'm actually just glad I did it. I'm going to write another one, and I have a feature kind of that I've about a third of the way through. So kind of like a catalog of things I've done to pitch.
I think that is exactly what you should be doing. What's your do you have a genre of choice? A comedy or?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that is a brilliant plan to just have, because you want to be ready. Like that's what I've learned too. It's like you want to be ready with your pilot idea, you know, your feature that you've written, you know, the spec. Like, yeah, look, I can do it. Like, give me the contract, give me the money, like sign on the dotted line.
And in an ideal world, like the things I'm writing that are original ideas, like I'd love to do the whole thing myself, even though I'm vastly not qualified to do it. Like I'd love to just develop it, produce it, and direct it, you know?
I mean, I think you actually can do it. I would just say take your concept and break it into like web series form, or, you know, 1 minute form. Like, even with like I did a short film years ago, but I it was because I was tired of sitting around and waiting for someone to want to put me in something or make something that I liked, you know? And so I fucking did it myself. And it's like, I really think like the Issa Rae, like do the web series proof of concept.
Yeah, that was really smart way of doing it too. Yeah.
In Broad City did it too.
Yeah,
it's
Broad
just like,
City, you're right. Yeah.
I think fortune favors the brave.
Yeah.
It's like that, like, do the thing and like people will want to be a part of it.
Yeah, because so many people don't ever complete the thing. So like do like don't fail before you complete the thing. Like complete it and then fail.
Also, some of the best advice I ever got was it was again with the short film. I had sent it to like 4 friends, and one of them was like, this is good. Make it and move on.
Yeah.
Just make it and move on. He's like, I have a coworker who's like 40 something years old. He has this like feature that he's been working on forever and just sitting on. And it's just like, just do it, learn from your mistakes and move on. Cause it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be quote unquote ready. Just do it, you know?
Yeah, and once it gets made, or if you make it yourself, you'll look at it and be like, well, that wasn't what I was thinking, but it's done.
Right. But it's done.
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I have on my whiteboard, it says done is better than perfect.
Oh, that's great. I love the whiteboards. I got one behind me, one over there, a little cork board for when I'm doing like A story, B story, C story, and like moving the little pieces around.
Dude, it's that thing has been instrumental in my life, and it's one of those things. It's almost like a vision board too. I'll write like things I want to accomplish, and like I don't consciously look at it, but I all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I've done 2 of those things, and I'll like cross them off, you know? Yeah,
it's nice to look back on a year and be like, wow, I did something, and having something written is so tangible. You're like, it exists. It's right here. Well, comedy like leaves you, and it kind of exists, but like writing is like it's here, it's in pages. You can flip through it.
Exactly. And like with comedy, I was just thinking about this yesterday too, because it's like there are so few rungs in the comedy ladder that you can be like, I climbed that rung. All I can really think about is a late night set and like a special or like an album. I'm like, okay, those are like things that like you can point to, but aside from that, you're like, what do you say? Like, oh, I crushed in a basement 3 nights ago.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, sure. But like the energy we feel when we do it is like,
it's the best energy.
It feels like a Netflix special. You're like, oh, this, but bigger.
Yeah.
Come on, you know?
Right. I guess being able to tour is another one too.
Totally.
You know, like being able to have a draw, so to speak, or an audience. And that's why the dopamine of likes is such a thing now. You're like, at least I'm being liked. At least like it feels like something is happening.
You got to get on TikTok.
All right, I'm gonna start clipping right after this.
Good.
I want to go back to something you said about selling your script. Like you said, it was optioned.
Yeah.
And just wanted to go, like, for those who might not know, that's like when you basically give someone the right to it for a certain amount of time, and they presumably pay you some money to kind of like hold it for a certain amount of time with the kind of like exclusively.
Yeah.
So they basically buy the right, the option, so to speak, to make it over that period.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that.
And that's something, that's a rung. You're like, what's better than being at a LA brunch and saying, yeah, my script got optioned? I mean, that's what people move here to say.
Absolutely.
Over French toast.
Oh, brunch. I miss brunch.
Right.
Yeah, saying anything to anyone over a dinner table would be nice at this point.
And they always say it while they have the menu out. Yeah, my script just got optioned. I'll have the...
Oh, do you have any gluten-free toast? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was and is something I still draw a lot of like pride from, I think. Because it is something, it's, as Alex would say, like, even though it didn't work out at A24, it's like part of your story. It's like A24 optioned your first feature. Like it's nice to say, like, in a room.
And guess who will take your next idea?
Yeah.
A24. You know, like,
oh yeah. Yes. And I I feel like part of that family, like they still like kind of like send me like updates on things or like invite me to like screenings and things like that. So it's like they're really nice. They're as cool as they appear to be. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Totally. Because you're accomplishing, like, occupying space in these people's minds. Like, people, they know who you are. Something might come up and be like, you know who's right for this?
Zach Noe Towers.
Zach Noe Towers.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely, I mean, I'm glad you said that, because it is like something you forget. Like, I think artists, or maybe it's just me, like I harp on the bad news often and I forget the good news. And it's like, no, it's like looking back, it will be like, oh yeah, like that's when I met A24, but that's when I worked with them. You know, like I didn't work with them till 5 years later. You know, it's like that whole thing.
Yeah, it is a journey. It's kind of cheesy to say, but like it's the thing, you're progressing through and it's never finished. You're just kind of like meeting people, developing relationships, and like playing the game in LA, so to speak. And the game is fun, you know, like it can be depressing and crazy and like soul crushing, but also when things go well, it's nice. It's a great town in a way, you know.
I completely agree, and I am going to reference a TikTok now, because I think LA is so much fun if you are like a value-oriented person while being here instead of a goal-oriented person while being here.
Oh, interesting.
Because the goal-oriented people are always like, I'll be happy when I get late night. I'll be happy when I get my special. I'll be happy when I option my feature. But the value-oriented people are drawing, you know, pleasure from, I like to create. I like to make people laugh. You know, I like to like, it's just like, that was eye-opening for me when I like really, when it was broken down for me like that into like two main types of succeeding.
Yeah, because we do look around at other people who have things we want, so to speak, and we're like, well, how did they do it? And then we kind of like, all right, we'll chart our path and be like, all right, they did this, this, and this. But then what actually happens for you is always going to be different. Like,
so different.
And you have to be open to that and aware to accept the great opportunities that are going to come your way that are not going to be the way maybe your idols did it. For who knows, the environment changes, you have different skill sets, like, and as much as you might want those goals, sometimes you don't get that exact goal.
Yep. You're right on the money. It's never going to be the exact same. Never. Even with the advancement in technology, you know, like TikTok, 19-year-old bisexuals on TikTok are getting signed as we speak. You know what I mean? It's just like TikTok wasn't around when Eddie Murphy was filming his specials. You know, it's just like, everyone's path is going to be violently different. Not violently, but like, you know, very different.
It's crazy that like the Saddle Ranch became a thing through TikTok.
Wait, did it?
If you you can't get into the Saddle Ranch on Sunset. It's just TikTok influencers. There's a line around the block. It's insane.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like all the TikTok people hang out there.
Weird.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know if you've probably been there. I went there once when I first moved here, and it's like, it's not the place to eat.
No, it's a tourist trap, sort of.
It's a tourist
and like
trap.
A douchey like Sunset Strip activity.
Yeah, and now it's like the hottest thing. Like, I mean, now there's a lockdown, but once the lockdown lifts, just you drive by and it's like just line up to get into the Sano Ranch.
Wow.
TikTok saved their business.
The power some of these kids have in their hands, in the palm of their hands, literally.
Yeah. Well, we always talk about one thing, which is like your goals for the next year. And this is obviously, we mentioned before, it's the weirdest year to have goals, but like, what are some of the things you want to accomplish for 2021?
That's so interesting because I rarely
Actually, it's funny. We just said don't talk about goals. But
goals,
like...
yeah. Well, and the thing I've been saying in like general meetings that I've had this past year is like I'm doing everything I love. I just want to do more of it. Like honestly, I've been here 12 years. Like it took till year 9 before I was making enough money to not have side gigs in the industry. So like that's like a recent goal I accomplished, and like it's still when I look at like fearfully, especially the pandemic, like all my sources of income were just like ripped from me. But it's like right now I'm writing for this. It's such a random gig, but like I'm writing, so I'm like check, like goal, like I'm making money as a writer.
Yeah.
Like, so like in that way, I'm ahead of the 2021 goal train. But yeah, I don't know. I would love to see my future go from this like weird option territory to in production. I want to be on camera more. Like I want to be like in stuff, but again, like that's kind of hard because there's just not as many things filming.
Yeah. Because you're on Dating No Filter, right?
Yeah, Dating No Filter is like it's blind dates and 6 comedians making jokes throughout. Very like pop up commentary, but we filmed season 2 over a year ago, so hopefully after this season finishes airing it'll get a season 3. But actually, and that's not even like the most secure job. They've replaced the straight guys I think both seasons so far, so like even then like the scaredy cat in me is like, what if I'm too old to be on it next year, you know?
Oh no, that's not gonna happen. And you have a very good like host oriented like vibe, and like you have the skills to be on camera definitely and to host things. Like when you're calling into Tom and Fortune's show, and like it's like he becomes this like 3-headed dragon there, and you're like totally on the same level. And it's I was very impressed with your abilities to like be quick and like make them laugh, and you were really good.
Oh, thanks Latif, that's really sweet. Yeah, years of being like the bubbly young gay guy on the show. Like I hosted so much at the beginning of my stand-up career, and I do enjoy, like I think I enjoy it.
Yeah, hosting is a good, like a lot of comedians have their slash actor slash host is like a good one, because like you're in front of the camera, you're quick on your feet, you're comfortable, like you're present. Like a lot of comedians, like Simon Gibson is a great host of that show. He's just doing the I think it's Cannonball, yeah. And it's just like the skill set you have as a comedian is always very impressive to like show producers and stuff, because you're like, oh wow, he barely needs a script, he can just go.
He can go, exactly. And it's like it's such like a scoffed at thing. I feel like a lot of comics do not want to be hosts, but it's like a really, like you said, it's like a muscle that you can really build and like show off.
No one's scoffing at a host job now.
No, oh my god.
No one's there's no scoffs. Scoffing is dead.
No, coughing is alive. Scoffing is dead.
That's funny. The slogan for 2021. Well, dude, I really appreciate you doing the podcast. Where do people find you? Give us some socials, your contacts, your TikTokers.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's at Zach Noe Towers everywhere. ZACHNOETOWERS. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Find me, baby.
Yeah, it's great. You don't have to be the real Zach Noe Towers.
Right?
Yeah, perfect. And once the Comedy Bunker outdoor show is back, would love to have you back on. And I'm going to dig up that video if it exists. And then it'll be on some more content to put on the TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
All right, thanks, Zach. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Latif.